des travaux sur le volontariat dans les jours qui viennent, c'est certainement une des formes les plus abouties de l'engagement qu'on peut prendre vis-à-vis des jeunes. Parce qu'il y a aussi une notion de réciprocité. Le jeune apporte quelque chose à la société. Et bien sûr, nous lui apportons cette opportunité d'effectuer une telle expérience. Qu'il s'agisse de la dimension de l'employabilité, ce que cette expérience, cet enrichissement à travers une activité non formelle apporte. Qu'il s'agisse de la citoyenneté, ou même de la solidarité, la confluence de tous ces objectifs dans le volontariat fait du volontariat certainement un produit essentiel que nous devons pouvoir offrir aux jeunes qui sont désireux d'y participer.
As chairman of the IANYS Global Council, I want to welcome everybody here to the official opening of this conference on National Youth Service here tonight. We have 140 participants from 43 nations.
This is the new IANYS. This is the sort of reincarnation of IANYS in a new phase, and we're delighted. We're just absolutely delighted and a bit overwhelmed, I must say, to have sent out invitations to people and our various networks all over the world, and to have people here at this conference from 43 different countries is pretty remarkable, I think.
What about Algeria? Argentina? Bosnia-Herzegovina? Brunei? Burkina Faso? Cambodia? China?
Well, National Youth Service is a relatively new idea, and it's definitely a very complex and multi-dimensional idea. In different countries, it gets little different forms and shapes. In some countries, you may even find several schemes of National Youth Service or volunteerism, and so on. IANYS provides the framework where all these diverse experiences and different forms of voluntary service can come together and be shared by members. Ideas can be changed, effectiveness can be compared and sometimes even evaluated in a better way.
Kuwait? Sudan? UK? And Vietnam. We thank you all for coming, because your contribution makes the conference an even richer experience, a learning opportunity that we wouldn't have had without you.
Thinking to take the experience in the whole world, what kind of experience there is in different countries to my country, in youth services. In our country, volunteer means he doesn't take anything award for what he do. But there is a new concept now. I learned that volunteer should take something award. So in our country, volunteer doesn't take enough, no salary, no. It's a part-time job. He have his job and he volunteer after noon or another time.
I came hoping to meet with persons from different continents to get a better sense of what was happening in the National Youth Service in different places, and to see if I could leave with a sense of some best practices that might be brought back to the National Youth Service in Jamaica.
How different NGOs or associations could build up civic service in their countries, how to deal with the governments, how to come up with arguments, how to deal with the private sector, fundraising. These different conferences talk about different subjects I will have to deal with in the next months with our association. So for me, it's a great preparatory work to what's next for us, and I hope it's going to help in Belgium. And I hope next time to the next conference I can come and speak about the National Youth Service in Belgium.
The opportunity I've had over my lifetime to be engaged in this field, to hear the discussions that are going on in the workshops and open sessions and general sessions are really profound when you start to try to get a conscious understanding of the global atmosphere of National Youth Service. Sometimes we get quite captured within our own countries, like the United States, of the movements that go on there and the versatility of movements, science, the history of our own country, not bearing a clear understanding of value added in other countries, cultures, traditions that come from people all over the world.
Our organization, like many here, was formed in response to the needs and the potential contributions of youth. Like many countries, we have a very large youth population. When we did our feasibility study in 2005, we found that 70% of our population was under age 30. So we focused on things that people told us from all different sectors of society about young people and the needs of communities. We found that the ideas of volunteering and citizenship were not well understood, nor volunteers are most interested in what happens after their service. A full 60% of them in our recent survey told us that they're working for either NGOs or international organizations. These are very sought-after jobs in Cambodia. We're just starting to see a stronger private sector in our country.
So looking for partners, for networking, see possibilities for our young people that we can send young people to other countries to do some volunteer work, or maybe to organize on special themes seminars. For example, we are organizing a lot of meetings about intercultural learning, or you can say intercultural or interreligious dialogue. I think that's a very important thing for the future. So in our policy we have a special interest in the Middle East and the Far East. And now we are also discovering, you can say, Africa with our volunteers. We sent a lot more to Latin America, but that's in Europe. But I hope to meet some people from the Middle East, Far East, and Africa.
I wanted to come to this conference in order to evaluate the state of youth service policy in the European Union, and to be able to make some accurate comparisons to what's going on in Hungary. In Hungary, we have a model program that's operational in about 120 towns and cities across the country, with about 10 to 15,000 volunteers on a yearly basis. It's called DIA for Demokratiku Szívkisággal Alapítvány. It's always kind of good to know whether what you're doing out in a remote part of Hungary is consistent with what's going on in other parts of Europe, and whether your program is particularly strong or particularly weak, or to figure out if there is an opportunity to learn